Hey everybody, Elizabeth Nader back on Jersey First TV, and I am so honored today to have Representative Vernon Jones on with us. Welcome to Jersey First TV.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be a part of First TV. I
Yeah,
like that.
well, absolutely. Listen, you are a hero. You are a hero to our party. You have an amazing story, and you know what's great? It's just begun. It's just begun. So we want to talk about it. We want the people of Jersey to be excited about what you're doing in Georgia. But you know, Jersey First is a voice to amplify the people in New Jersey who are fighting for their freedoms and just their way of life. And I know it's important to you as well. So I want to tell your story. First of all, let's start with the walkaway that happened in January. You've been a lifelong Democrat. What happened in January?
Well, it's kind of funny. I was born and reared in the South, North Carolina. Hard work, faith-based.
Yeah.
The government doesn't owe you anything, and education. Those were the things that my parents taught me. They were farmers, had very little education. They said, look, you pray hard, you work hard, there's nothing you can't achieve. When I got caught up in the Democratic Party as a young man, the Democratic Party at that time reflected a totally different party than the party today in terms of Democrats. And I literally stayed where I am right now. But for the past 30 years, my party moved farther and farther and farther left until they've gone off the cliff. Defunding police, do not embrace the ability for people to express themselves in terms of their constitutional rights, including freedom of speech, even Second Amendment.
Right.
I see where they want to support children going through transgender sex operations and hormone injections. These are children. You have to be 18 to vote and 21 to buy a pack of cigarettes. The kids are still developing. Let them do when they become adults.
Right.
I'm not anti this group or that group.
Right.
I'm just pro-family, I'm pro-children. When you look at how they don't stand, the left do not stand for election integrity. When you see how they want to allow us to have open borders, we spend millions and millions on hotels for illegals, and we have veterans sleeping under bridges. Something is just not right.
Yeah.
And when you're under attack because your party affiliation or political ideology, and the left want to fight you, attack you literally, that's not the party I want to belong to. And so when I came out for President Trump, I came out because it was about my country. It wasn't about my party.
Right.
What he had done for this country in the past 4 years supersedes, I can think of anything any president has done in the past 40 years. Why? Because he put America first, like Jersey is first, Georgia's first. You know, call me a nationalist because I put my country first. It has nothing to do with race. It has to do with putting your pride for your country. You know, when I think about CRT being taught in schools, this is they're teaching racism.
That's
they're
right.
teaching bigotry. They're pitting one young kid against another. That young white kid had nothing to do with what happened 200, 300, 400 years ago. Why are you trying to create this unnecessary hate based on one person's theory of what they feel? It's all race-based. And then, you know, when I look at how school choice, Democrats have kept children in failing schools. And they want to keep them there because they want the teachers' union about the children. And so when I see that kind of foolishness take place, I say, hey, I don't want to be a part of this. And so the Republican Party, I share more of their values. They share more of my values. And so I made it clear, I want to come back home to my home party, the party of abolition, the party of Frederick Douglass, the party of I mentioned Abraham Lincoln, the party of Senator Edward Brooks, United States Senator Black from Massachusetts. Republican.
That's
you know, and so I wanted to come and bring to the grand old party brand new ideas, brand new opportunities, and brand new people. Republicans have to reach out to those communities, like the minority communities. They are very conservatives, but the Democrats, and they know the Democrats have been screwing them, but they just don't trust the Republicans. We got to engage them. You can't just put 2 black people in a commercial and think you're going to get black votes. Donald Trump showed you what you can do if you invest in the black communities with policies. He didn't give away stuff. He created jobs. He created opportunities in those areas that were depressed by Democratic policies. He made it sure if you want to start a business or you wanted to grow your business, he removed a lot of regulations. That's the kind of president I support. And so on January 6th, when I made that announcement, I'm joining the Grand Old Party, it was the best thing I could have done. I didn't just get there overnight. But when I realized where they were going, they had the right string but the wrong yo-yo. I can admit that.
Oh, I love that. Well, you talk a lot when I watch your interviews about the hypocrisy of the Democrat Party, about the failed policies. And really, at this point, when you look at it, you know, now the party of civil liberties, the party of the working class, the party of basic American freedoms is now the GOP, which is ironic because it's something that Dems always celebrated. But wouldn't you agree with me? Now we are the ones who are fighting for those basic freedoms that they used to champion.
Well, there's a lot of hypocrisy in the Democratic Party. For example, they say they support women. No,
Right.
you don't. If you do, why aren't you fighting to protect female sports?
Right.
You say that you support African Americans. Oh, you do? Then why do you think if I don't vote for you, I'm not black?
Yeah.
Why is it that you don't accept conservative leaning, independent thinking African Americans? So
Right.
there's a lot of hypocrisy to go around. And
Right.
you're right. John Kennedy would not stand for the foolishness that the Democratic
No
Party is
chance.
doing right now, where they don't even stand for our constitutional rights, the very basics of our freedoms.
Right.
It's just mind-boggling.
You know, you said something to me before we went live, which I absolutely loved. You were talking about looking at Georgia and what happened there with the Senate runoff. And I was telling you how we want, you know, the United States, the GOP, to look at Jersey and invest in Jersey because we want to stop the blue cancer, if you will, from spreading. And you said, well, look at Georgia. As Georgia goes, so the nation goes. And that's exactly what happened in the Senate runoff, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's why the reason why that happened is because we have rhinos in Georgia.
Right.
We have those who caved into Stacey Abrams and the left. They allowed Stacey to come in through an executive settlement agreement to change our election laws. And you and I know only the Constitution only provides for legislatures to change election laws, not someone who's mad because they lost an election. They want to come in and file a lawsuit. And when you look at the tip of the spear, our governor did not stand up for election integrity.
No.
These drop-off boxes, they were not a part of our elections laws, but they were used. The signature verification was not a part of our election laws, but they were used.
Right.
And so our governor cost us 2 U.S. Senate seats in the president's election. And therefore, we have Nancy Pelosi,
Right.
Chuck Schumer, and Jim Crow Joe Biden. And they remind me of the Wizard of Oz. One has no heart, the other has no brain, the other has no courage. And they're not being led by Dorothy and Toto. They're being led by the Wicked Witch of the South, Stacey Abrams.
Yeah, absolutely. She's caused a lot of damage and she's not done yet, but I know you're going to fight that. So you have decided to put your hat in the ring to go for governor in Georgia. Talk us through that decision of yours and how you plan to position yourself against Kim.
Well, I had planned not to run for election again. I was through with elected politics. I just wanted to go home and raise me some beagles and do what I used to do on the farm. But when I saw how this election was stolen from President Trump, and then many of us who know doggone well something wasn't right with the liberal media and the Democrats are telling us that we're coming up with these false narratives. Well, then if it's false, if the election was so good, then why can't you stay with us for forensic audits? What's wrong with that? Ronald Reagan always said, it's not that I don't trust you, but let me verify. We just want to verify. What's wrong with verifying? Right. I can tell you what's wrong with it. You'll see with those who were part of this election fraud, it's going to be exposed. This president was robbed from this election. And so when I look at that and other things that are going on, we're going to have to change this, and we have to change this with courage. When I look at, again, what happened across this country, look what's going on in Arizona. They're doing a forensic audit, a lot of issues with chain of custody. Yeah. When you saw what the Michigan judge ruled that the legislative branch only were the ones who can change election laws, not the executive branch. Right. I mean, it's just, and a lot, imagine how much is gone that's unaccounted for that nobody's even talking about because there's an assumption that things were right. No. And now the federal government, the Democrats want to take over the state's rights to conduct elections. HR1. What is that about? Nightmare. And you know what? That will change our country really for good if that were to get through the Senate, which of course right now it's not, thank God. But that just shows you what they really want to accomplish. Now, you did get the voter ID law passed in Georgia, not without ramifications. Talk to us about this cancel culture that just went out of control after simply asking that people show an ID when they vote. Well, in Georgia, just a lack of leadership. Our governor, who first said there was nothing wrong with our elections,
Yeah.
well, then there was nothing wrong with our elections. Why you want to come and sign in a new election law?
Yeah.
Something had to be going on. And by the way, that new election law included the drop-off boxes that was used in the previous election that wasn't in state statute. Why did they go and put it in the state statute? They came in Stacey again. And then for those who are making the issue of it, like Joe Biden, who called it Jim Crow, and Stacey Abrams, well, let's go back to Delaware. Delaware's election laws are much more restrictive than Georgia's. Why aren't they bringing that out? Why is that a Jim Crow state? When you look at Coca-Cola, who want to talk about the Jim Crow law, they never read the bill, but yet still they're telling their employees and trying to provide them with training to act less white. What was that about? Then when you look at Delta Airlines, they're going to call it Jim Crow. They never looked at the bill. Well, wait a minute. Do I need an ID to get on your plane? And finally, Major League Baseball in New York, your election laws are more stricter towards voting. And then you want to say you want to help black people, where you want to leave Atlanta with a 51% black population and go to Denver with a 9% black population. Amazing. So the hypocrisy of that. And how is it that our governor didn't meet with these heads and say, wait a minute, this is not how we play ball here. Why did, if Stacey Abrams could meet with the baseball commissioner, why couldn't our governor do it? And because of his lack of leadership, it left. And one of the things we're doing, you know, there was a lawsuit filed to bring him back to Atlanta. I will, as of today, be filing an amicus brief to support the lawsuit to bring them back here to Georgia.
Nice move. But
where's our governor on that? So we have to stand up and put Jersey first. We have to put Georgia first. We have to put America first. And so there's a movement taking place. They've awakened a sleeping giant. That's why it's important. My election. Can you imagine me being a Republican African-American governor? How I can go across this entire country recruiting and bring those conservatives out of the woodwork and standing with the Republican Party, party of values, from family values to our constitutional, protecting our constitutional values. I mean, this is remarkable. That's why the left, they cannot stand the fact that I'm running for governor and they know that I'm about to be the next governor and they're trying to silence me. But that dog won't hunt.
I love it. I told you were a hero. And, you know, New Jerseyans love to support people in other states we look up to. We're encouraged by what you're doing, the stand you're taking. And as I know you're talking to everyone you can in Georgia, as you go around and talk to these honorable people, just everyday Americans who just want their country back, what are they telling you? What are their concerns?
First of all, election integrity. They want election integrity. They want to be able to vote and use a system that's transparent, that's free of any fraud, where there's a tracking system that they'll know that their legal vote was properly counted. That makes a big difference. Secondly, this cancel culture and the left's agenda, everything from, again, transsexual sex operations to the critical race theory being taught in schools, to not putting America first and putting Russia and China and all those. And you know what? Everybody doesn't want to take that vaccination. That's their constitutional right. That's their freedom to or not to. And the ironic thing about that, if the vaccination works so well, then why are they worried about people catching? You got your vaccination.
Makes no sense.
Why not still have to wear a mask? It makes no sense. And Dr. Fauci, they need to hook a tow truck up to him and pull him and take him over to China. He needs to go and work in the China lab.
Yes, I think he was working for China. I don't know. It's crazy how common sense went right out the window, Representative. It's really strange to me. And you know what, though? I trust the American people. They're intelligent. I trust the American people. They're moderates. They just want to live a good life and have freedoms. And you're the kind of person that represents that. And we need more of you to do that. We need more of you to stand up and say, this is crazy. What's going on? And what has happened in this past year? Do you see the pendulum swinging back? Do you believe Americans will stand up, especially in these midterms, and say enough?
Yeah, you know, that rubber band stretches and it stretches and it stretches until it can't stretch anymore. It has to come back. That's the law of gravity. At the same time, you see cycles where history repeats itself. You know, Thomas Jefferson said that every 20 years, our country should go through a revolution. But what is a revolution? Radical change. Our country is about to go through radical change. Matter of fact, Donald Trump started that radical change. And it's going to be Donald Trump that's going to finish that radical change. I can tell you that.
Nice. That's exciting. Well, you know what? I agree with you. It's amazing to see how far we have gone in one direction, but I have a lot of hope. We are fighting here. Jersey First was started by congressional candidate Rosemary Becky. And, we're determined. We are a blue state, but we are determined, Representative, that we will begin to appeal to the moderates. And we want to support you and what you're doing. So I want you to tell the people as we close how they can get more information about you, about how they can support you and stay in touch with your events.
Well, let me say this. New Jersey may be a blue state, maybe on the surface, but I know New Jersey people are bleeding red.
Yeah.
And I know this is a wake-up call for a lot of them.
Yeah.
And you're going to start to see the paradigm shift. And
Great.
that's why people like you and me and the person who started Jersey First, you guys are we're just waking up to what's been going on.
Yeah.
And we're waking others up. And so if you want to be a part of this team, a part of this fight, go and join me at jonesforgeorgia.com. That's jonesforgeorgia.com. You may not be able to vote for me, but send me a donation. And all of you, I don't think there's anyone in New Jersey that do not know someone that lives in Georgia.
Yeah, that's true.
I know. And Georgia's on everybody's mind right now. Remember, so goes Georgia, so goes this country. So
yes.
Please go back again to our website, jonesforgeorgia.com, and support our efforts.
Well, we're so excited about you. And this is not the last we've seen of you in New Jersey. You have a lot of friends here. I know you know that. And we will talk about getting you here to help rally us as well. We have to pull together as a nation. Okay. Just God bless you and everything you're doing, Representative. We're so excited to see you take back Georgia, and best of luck to you.
Thank you so much. And feel the Vern, feel the Vern.
Feel the Vern. I love that. That's great. We got to spread that around. Feel the Vern, guys. All right, guys, have a good night. We'll talk to y'all soon.